Okay. I guess I'll get
Should we just
started.
do it cold open or what?
Yeah,
Whatever.
we already did a show, and it was just the last hour. No one
Well,
gets to hear
that
that
was like
stuff.
45 minutes of trying to figure out how things work.
Yeah. All right. So then I'll just say
Let's begin now.
you're listening to Polymatic.media, episode 80 for May 2021. Welcome to the Polymaticast.
Well, it depends if it's going to be released in May, of course, because we're recording this pretty late. Actually, it's like
Yeah,
the
midway to the
15th.
month. I had
Yeah.
to squeeze in pretty early for an ATS for the OG and the patrons and stuff like that, but I haven't edited yet. Maybe that's the thing I do. Oh, I don't even know. Now I think about it, I gotta. There's a lot of stuff's going on next week. So anyhow, hi John. I know how you're doing. We've been talking for the last hour.
Well, talking is a bit of a overstatement. I think
Yeah.
we've been sending messages to and from because stuff wasn't working.
Yeah. I mean, so look, here's the thing. Here's the dirty secret. We both record on our end, and then John syncs that up, and that's where the edit comes from. Um, but primarily, we talk through something, and historically, it was Skype. With OG, we've moved on to something else. We tried some other things. They've all sort of not worked. Skype had almost, for the most part, like in a high 80%, um, for most part, for most people, worked flawlessly. Now it's just sort of broke. Just not going to work. Not going to
Well,
do a
on
thing.
your end, Skype
Yeah,
works
or at
fine
least
for
on
me.
my end. Yeah. So that just forced our hand to try some other options out, where we sort of negotiated about what the options are. And now I think we're improved. I hope things are improved. So,
For the record, we're using Google Meet at the moment,
yeah.
so let's hope it still works after an hour.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean,
I've, I've
audio's good.
I vetoed Zoom because I think it's well, I have my opinions about Zoom.
Yeah. But in terms of audio, it seems to be working great for us. In terms of video, it's complete crap. Um, if you were so you wouldn't want to do Google Meet for the purposes of like doing a interview for a video or a film or something like that.
Also, while we were doing this, I figured out that there was a button that had been pressed, and it's been pressed for the last 6 months. Um, yeah, it's the 26 dB pad thing. So for some reason, I've been recording really bad.
Yeah, you were always quiet, but
Whoops.
but now I can hear you really well. So this is great.
Yeah, it appears that for some reason I
Makes
messed
all the
things up.
difference. Yep. All right.
Whoops.
Well, lots of stuff has gone on in the last month.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we're gonna get through these topics because I know you got lots of words about a lot of these things. So we'll just kind of hammer them out.
So you got your first vaccination, right?
So I got the second vaccination.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay. So
so
did you have
and
one the
and
last time?
I just got it. No, I got it at the end of April. So
So
I'm
you
fully
you're about to
incubated.
get it. Yeah.
No, I'm fully incubated at this point. So it's basically in the case of
Inoculated.
the two dose, right? First dose preparation, second dose real vaccine. Then it takes about 2 weeks for you to be fully incubated, um,
Inoculated.
or in inoculated, if you want to say.
Incubated is something else.
Well, I mean that's okay. So to the point, I am. We sort of had this joke in another Discord where we were referring to we got the 5G upgrade,
You
and
get
so
your
now
chips.
I would say for the last words like oh yeah I'm at full signal now. So
How's your download speed now?
it seems to be better than the house. Oh, so I bought the new Mesh network from Google. They were running like a deal. So I got like $50 off and it's like, okay. The only problem is the one that I had before, the Nest, it's not the Nest, which is the Google Wi-Fi. Each of the units has any one of them could become the router. And when it's not a router, that Ethernet, that gig Ethernet coming out of that thing, is basically fresh off, so I could run that into the sort of the LAN. Where the new one handles like the newer Wi-Fi speeds and all that stuff. It only has the one that is the gateway. So not you could have taken any one of those three and turned them into gateways, meaning like you could turn it into uh, you could move your router to any one of those three mesh points. But in this case, there's only one, and the others are the access points
Okay.
wired up with the mesh. And so what I did is upstairs. Actually, what am I doing down here? Down here, I am running. Yeah, okay. So right from down here in sort of the basement, the router goes right into the unit, and then out of that unit, I wired it to like a local LAN here, and then
Yeah.
through the mesh upstairs, upstairs in the living room where all my computer gear is, I wired a line from that point to another hub, a network hub switch basically, and then ran that to the back towards my desk. So like I lose that, but it's the Wi-Fi is great on this thing. So it's not like, between my phone and that, it's not going to be that bad. Now, I have the box. I opened it up and I looked at it and go, ooh, ozone smells great. and then, uh, and then basically I put it back in the box because I'm not ready to go through that this weekend. And I might actually leave the other one up. I just, I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do because then I got to get my roommate and all his gear sort of sorted out. And I just like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just put a second set of network up and I'll switch all my gear onto it. And then even the car, especially if the range is better. So the car is a distance away in the carport from the house, given the townhouse I live in. But the Wi-Fi reaches it, but it's not full signal. So
If you have like an access point spare, you could try sticking Pringles can on the antenna and pointing it towards the car.
I guess so. Well, what I did is with the existing ones is I put one in the basement, right? It's the router. I stuck one in the living room, little off center from the other two. And then about where my bedroom is in a particular corner, which is about almost center line from the one that's here in the basement, I stuck it in my room and that covers upstairs. So I get pretty good signal like at the mailbox, which is again sort of to the far right of the carport area. And again, a distance away, right? I still get signal. I get signal to the carport, which is a good several hundred feet away. No problem. But it'd be nice if it was a little stronger. That's all.
Wait, how do we get on this? Oh yeah,
Uh,
vaccinations.
yeah,
5G.
so we got it. So I talked about gear. That was what it is. Oh, that was going off on the joke of being full signal 5G. So yeah, that was another random piece of gear I put in. I just hadn't done anything with it yet. So we'll see. One day I'll talk about it. I mean, actually, when I get it done. Just how it is. You go down to the pay point. You got to destroy your network. It's just like today. You were probably pissed off just like I was. That stuff just wasn't working, but it's always been working.
Well, the problem was when we finally did get connected. Then the problems were on my end.
Yeah, and that
kind of
at least that
annoying.
was good. We figured that out. Yeah.
So you say you had everything hooked up to your new podcast PC? So you hooked stuff up?
Oh yeah. So I mean, before what I was doing is I was historically doing playback through my laptop. So I would bring my laptop down, and then I had a USB box connected to it, and then that thing would be connected to the board for like sweeper
Okay.
playback and stuff.
So
So
you
all I did is
simplified
I
it.
just moved it into the main system, and I moved the Stream Deck and reset up the profile for it, so that I can just push the buttons on the side here. But the main issue was that the laptop would take some time to like have to, when you turn it on, it goes through this update cycle. Like it didn't matter where I was turning it on every single day. It would just do this annoying thing, and then the fans would go on for 20 minutes, and it would just make an absurd amount of noise.
Yeah.
And then you have to wait for it to calm down, and then and so the problem is this is Dell, and I didn't like wipe out the OS on it. At the time, I needed a laptop. That was my main system. And so I never wiped the thing out and just sort of cleaned the thing off. And so even though I uninstalled all of the Dell stuff, there's some secret something running underneath there. Because when I turn it on, the CPU power, it's not even like sneak upgrades from Google or Microsoft. No, you can tell when those things are going off. And it just sits there and it just like has to consume every bit of resource on the laptop for like 20 minutes until it decides to settle down. And it's so frustrating when you just want to come down here and turn stuff on and record and you just need your sweeper music. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I kind of took it out of the system finally and wired it over here, and it works great. I mean, it's basically already wired into the board the same way. I just moved something over
Yeah.
and reset up the Stream Deck. So, I mean, that was a change for me, creating additional simplicity for me. Now it's all dependent on one piece of hardware for at least that. But, it can handle it, so it's not a problem.
And now you have Skype issues. Oh noes.
Yeah, no, it was unrelated. That was working. I was working as a test. I used it several times actually since I did that. So
the that's kind of the problem I've been having with like having the urge to redecorate, reorganize stuff, hooking things up in the right way, like getting things more efficient. But what's gonna happen at the end of May? I've got 2 desks that I'm ordering. They're about 160 by 120.
mm-hmm.
Like an L shape in the corners. So I've got 2 of them that I'm going to attach to each other.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be, one end is going to be artwork, one end is going to be game / podcast recording apparently. And buying an L8. Finally going to do it. Yep. I need more audio gear. Actually, it's going to simplify my setup a lot. Because right now I've got things hooked up into USB connections and buttons to press that I shouldn't have pressed.
Right. You over the course of time did it in small pieces, right? You never sort of fully bought into into everything after several years, and now you're gonna fully just buy a piece of hardware that you can just consolidate everything into it.
Well, I have an H4n.
Right, but you're using a recorder as a pass through instead of just buying a board and passing everything into, wiring everything into a board.
No, actually, I've got a USB sound card hooked up to the board.
Oh, okay.
So there's a separate mixer that I have everything hooked up to, and then there's stuff that goes out into the H4n. It's a big giant clusterfuck of cables. So I'm just gonna stick to see if the L8 works for me. And it's probably going to, but it's another $400 that I would rather spend on something else. But it's gonna simplify this.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, it's just, if I'm recording A Talk is Life, I literally just turn the board on, power stuff up, go hit record, pull it, take the SD card upstairs, copy stuff off, come back down there, put it back in the board. Everything is, hit the basically power off on the surge protector and done. When it comes to this recording stuff, okay, I turn on this system, I turn this thing on, I set stuff up for recording, and then I go into Zoom, or in this case now we're doing Google Meet, and it's very, very straightforward. I don't have to be screwing around with and I did that in the past. I used to have 2 boards and 2 things and and do the hokey pokey and turn yourself about. But there's something simple about once you're sort of, you're dedicated to it, spend a little cash, get the right gear, wire it all up, turn stuff on, hit record, turn stuff off,
But
copy
the whole
the
problem
files.
for me is the having to do the left and right link thing, right? That's just annoying.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's doing feedback if I flip it, so I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm just done with this. I just want to have a system that works.
How long has it been?
Yes.
How long have we been podcasting? Let's take it from that perspective.
I don't know, 2016.
And you were dabbling with it, sort of with not being in full tilt for a long time, even prior to that. So 80 shows, so 80 months. No, we
No, not
we didn't
8
always
months.
we did like bi-weekly for a while, I thought.
So I think the first one is 2016 September.
Okay, so that's a fair amount of time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time for an upgrade.
Yeah. Look, I mean, every few years I sort of look at what I'm doing and go, okay, I've been meaning to improve this and meaning to do that. Why haven't I been doing that? And then I just sort of do it, right?
Throw money at the problem.
Yeah, and well, throw throw money at the problem to buy the equipment I need to improve the solution. I mean, I look at it that way. Like some people do exactly that. They buy what they don't need, thinking that's the quick shortcut to solving a problem, and then they realize that they still have to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, tools can help you do things, but I've seen people craft things out with a spoon. They don't always need a chisel.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just works fine with the simplicity of what you have, right? People make short films with their iPhone, right? They don't
Yeah,
need a
well,
red camera.
the ones that they did with like for like the promotion stuff was like, yeah, it was shot on iPhone.
Yeah,
Really?
no, actually, technically, a lot of that wasn't shot on my iPhone. What those advertising companies did for Apple is they use like red cameras, and then
Mm,
they formatted it down for an iPhone, and they
mm,
might have edited two things in the iMovie on your iPhone. Said, yeah, edit on an iPhone, shot on an iPhone, but that's
yeah.
not real. That's not realistic. It's a
So,
lie.
so you might hear some stuff in the background. That's because I got rats. So they might be making noises.
Yeah, you
Hear
and
some.
your hamster and rat army.
Yep. Eventually, I'll take over the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make little mechs for them and then send them.
3D
Take.
print. You could
Yeah.
resin print them some suits.
I don't think resin is going to be the right material for
No,
that.
of course not. Uh, so that there is a guy on TikTok who's just amazing with this 3D printing stuff.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, again, I know there are some people for you to follow if you ever ever decide to. And the great thing is you can look at the stuff without actually having an account. So that's the value
Hmm.
out there.
The resin printing, I've had some fun times with that. It's been a mess. I've gone through my first bottle, and it's been yeah. I printed a lot of figurines for a friend of mine, but eventually I decided to start printing parts for a little figurine. I don't know if you can see this. Let me just-
Oh yeah, I can see that. It's not in
it's like
focus.
a muscle figurine to show muscles on a body,
Hmm.
and I've printed it like in tiny form, which is what you just saw. Well, that Alan just saw.
Yeah.
But I've been printing the parts for like the bigger version of that, and like because the printer is so small, it doesn't have enough space, so you have to put like at an angle and like just enough space for it to go diagonally, and yeah, it's a big mess. And then there's parts that aren't really well formed, so you have to print it again and then again, and oh, you realize that that's the problem, so you have to fix the model. So lots of fun times with resin printing, and then having issues where the print is done, but it's still filled with uncured resin. So it's a hollow print, so that looks fine. It's just that there's a lot of resin on the inside.
So what do you do with that? You can't pour it back in the bottle, can you?
No,
So you
that's the
have to
exact
sort of
problem.
print. You have to print. So you really need to know how much resin you need for.
Well, I what I did is I drilled a hole in the side, and then I poured the resin out because you can fill them with you can make holes in it like as the print goes, like for the in the design basically when you whatever you send to the printer.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
Is that inside it was hollow and
it
it had.
hollows it out, and
Ah,
then
okay. Liquid was
it
inside.
and you can have holes in the design, or you can have holes in the while you're setting up the print,
Mm-hmm.
but those don't always form properly. So then there's like a film over it, so it doesn't come out. and then you
Mhm.
have to poke a hole in it so it actually flows out the other end.
Can you
And
I was gonna say because sometimes what they do is people they build those like weak posts that they basically clip out when they're done with 3D
yeah,
prints.
supports. Yeah, so it has supports on the inside, but like the problem with this stuff is that you cannot really cure the inside that well
Mhm.
because there's no access to it. So I think eventually for me, it's just going to be me printing the whole thing in solid resin. It's just
Maybe
to
you
be
could do
done
it
with
in
it.
two parts where it has really no base and it's hollow to begin with. So when you pull it out or whatever it is, that it basically isn't filled with liquid, and then you
Uh,
can get a second part that snaps in the base.
I know. I've been
I
through
don't know.
this.
Oh yeah, I don't
It's
know.
just a for me. It's going to be just me printing it full. It's cheaper for me to print it full solid, and then not having to deal with
The
health
mess.
problems because there's resin everywhere, right? Or that's just easier. Just gonna do it that way.
Did you
Be
see
done with it.
Evan and Caitlin have their new ventilators?
Yeah, that was.
I've seen other makers do that because they sort of TIG weld and stuff like that. So you should probably get one of those if you don't have one already.
Yeah, I have a respirator. It's working fine. It just doesn't look as silly. And actually, it looks those they have they're pretty good. They look pretty good. It's just that having that thing on your back doing like the making a lot of ventilator noises. I don't know how much better it is. Then again, I'm not making videos, so maybe for them it's much better.
Hmm.
Anyway, the resin printing is a big mess, and there's actually I was going to sell my printer to my friend, but he bought one because I told him to just buy one instead of me having to drag a used 3D printer to his house on a bike. I
Oh,
didn't want to
okay.
do that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? It's going to be just as expensive as you just buying a new one. Just get that one. I'll just keep using this one.
Oh.
Yeah. So we've been playing Minecraft on the server again. Uh, I wiped the OG Craft server,
Hmm.
and for some reason, having a fresh server to play on is people like to play on that.
Yeah, I think what happens is life gets busy and then I'm not nearly as adventurous or care as much as like you or James does or or Badiah does. Like I'm just not it's not my thing.
Hmm.
Um and I just like to kind of aimlessly, have something I want to do in there and just sort of work at it. And I never go in like creative mode and like, build a big pumpkin, right? I just don't do that. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have another server where they do all kinds of creative things, and they don't really care what you're running in. And but I set up a home or something there in tough mode, and I didn't go in creative, and I just sort of like everyone's got these glorious palaces because they spend their basically all day doing that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I just spent a few hours here or
I
there
just
at
don't have the
most.
time to play
Yeah.
that much. But I've gotten some stuff done. I'm building a house on top of a, a, a a hill that I flattened out, and I'm building a giant mansion basically
Yeah.
out of wood, only for it to burn down in the next thunderstorm.
Oh, really? Is that what happened?
No, it will probably happen. Somebody will set fire to it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I took at least the bottom part of my hut, and it has wood around it. But it basically underneath that is all stone. So
I
like,
should probably turn off fire spreading. That's probably a good idea.
turn it off.
Yeah, you can turn it off.
Oh, well, then you probably should.
Yeah.
But we got at least someone from the one person from the OG cast. He bought the what did he buy?
5.
He bought the Steam
Yeah.
uh whatever it was, the Steam's VR headset.
The
Um
HTC 5, I think.
no. That's HTC Vive is one thing. No,
The Index?
Steam has their own.
Index.
Index, that's it. Yeah. So I think that's what he got. And he finally came, so he was like, "All right." And then he made some comment about, "Oh, there's some interesting thing for Minecraft." And he's like, oh, and then he started complaining about like how he could never because his credit card will never work or something. And I was like, I just sort of bought it on Amazon. I gifted it to him. I said, here's a code,
Yeah,
redeem it. He's like,
it's
oh,
pretty much impossible to buy Minecraft at the moment because for some reason, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't
You
know what's
can
going
get.
on.
I bought it off Amazon.
I understand for the US it's possible. For
Oh.
Europe, it's impossible.
Oh, okay, that's
At
odd.
least for me, it was impossible for me to buy because it keeps sending me to Amazon, but I cannot buy it on Amazon.
Interesting.
Region locking, wonderful.
I think I tried to buy it for Matt at one point, but like, even if I did, I'm not sure that he would play it. He's sort of a creature of habits, so he likes his habits, and getting him out of his sort of routine of habits is difficult. So yeah. So I mean, that being said, Paul felt the need that he wanted to play with Vivecraft and
We installed the
uses,
plugin.
Yep, and John agreed to install it on the server. And so he has been basically playing with a VR headset while he's Minecrafting, and he's learning how to Minecraft. And he's just like, his point of view was, well, look, I've played every single knockoff like thing that does Minecraft like things that was inspired by Minecraft. I might as well play the original now. And so he's been doing it. I don't know how long he's been on, but I see him pop on every once in a while.
Yeah.
And it's been good. It's been fun. Now I go in there when I just feel like I need to burn some time off and energy at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like for like a good like half an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Yeah, I'm not.
I just wish that they had like a way. I know that there's a way to play with like the Bedrock version on the Java servers now. But there's like a link up for that. But the problem is the Switch. It doesn't allow for custom servers. So, which is kind of annoying because I just want to play on my Switch. That would be wonderful. I could just hop on the server.
How
from
easy
bed.
is the gameplay for that? Because when I tried to play on mobile years ago, I bought the app. I hated it. It was just like the worst.
It on Switch is pretty good. I love it on Switch. It's just there's no way to play it on, like, I cannot play only on Bedrock servers from Mojang. Can I play it? And I have to buy the server through the Switch thing because otherwise it's not going to work either. Like, it's so locked down. That's why I hate it.
I just don't know why they did that, and I don't know whose fault that is.
They're trying to protect kids.
Okay, I got you. I understand.
But it's still annoying. Just like, I have a credit card. I know, like, just give me access to the thing that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we gotta log everything down.
Anyway. Yeah, it seems kind of insipid.
Did you ever play Mass Effect?
I never did. And you're really the only one in my life who talks to me the most about it. And so I never got into it. Never a thing for me.
Okay. So Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out yesterday.
Oh, okay, cool. Did you buy it?
Yes, I already bought it like a month ago.
Oh, have you been playing it?
I just played it a little bit for like half an hour yesterday because I had other stuff to do. I had to do streaming as well. So so I played for it for a little bit, and it does look gorgeous compared to the original. Because I had the original on my hard drive as well, but I had to remove it because it was like the new 1, 2, 3. So it's like an edition where they have the three episodes basically in one download. So you have to download all 3 at once, and it's 100 gigs.
That is crazy.
But it does look great, and it runs very smoothly on a 1660 Super. It's great. I'm very happy I bought that video card just before everything got crazy.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have bought this, I had some sort of like it did feel like why did I spend all this money on the video card, blah blah blah. Like, if I wouldn't have bought it, that would have been.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I utilize my card,
I would hate myself now.
The most for what's most important for me is video editing in 4K. And high quality 4K, right? And the card I have can handle 8K. I'm not sure that I have a need to.
You have a 3080, right?
Yeah, 3080. But it also apparently without hesitation works great for 6K, right? So, but so when I get more back on the film, obviously things are starting to open up in the world. So so yeah, so I mean, I don't know what's going on with Otakon yet. I have a
I was just about to ask.
I have a feeling I don't know. I don't want to say anything publicly because I don't really know. I have not. I've been so busy on these weekends that I've missed a bunch of the meetings. So I don't know where we're at, whether we're having an event or not, like a
Wow.
physical event, or are we going virtual again? I think it all comes down to what's going on in Washington D.C. So
Speak of Washington D.C., was last year. I was like, okay, so if everything calms down in the U.S. with like the whole political situation a little bit, right? So I would go to. I was gonna go to the U.S. this year for like vacation, like driving around.
mhm.
Bring my brother, have like a road trip or something like that. But like then COVID happened. Actually, it was 2020 was like the first year where we are gonna do that again, but I was like, oh well, COVID. So now
Right.
this year it's still COVID. Still waiting on it. Still waiting on my vaccine. I just haven't got my vaccine yet, so I cannot get it until the end of June.
Do you know which version? I would assume you're probably getting the.
I think there's 4 that are available here, so it's like one of the 4.
Hmm,
So
okay.
it's probably going to be the one of the 2 RNA ones.
So I qualify what they call for here in the U.S. Phase 1A because I'm diabetic, and it was sort of a nightmare to even get on a schedule.
So you got the two versions,
Yeah, I
the
got
two
the
doses.
Pfizer. Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted the Pfizer and Moderna, anyways. So that being said, uh, you know, I was supposed to I registered with the county. I did all the right things. I checked in with all the stuff. Nothing, 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 nothing. And anything that would have been available to me would have been 200 miles away in my own state. So that wasn't really going to be a thing. Um, Even though I should be on a priority list to be able to get it, there are lots of these pharmacies that are just super booked up, and being able to get on a schedule, get into sort of in the list was like so difficult. And I just happenstanced one day, it was the middle of a meeting, and I was just like, and I went it's around lunchtime, and I was like, oh, let me just check. Oh, hold on. So let me schedule times. And I got something. And about 2 weeks after I got on the schedule, now they opened up to the rest of the country. So,
Okay.
but apparently it's still very difficult to get onto these schedules. So even though I got it, it's sort of like a lottery, right? It's by chance if you can get in. A lot of these pharmacies, they have like particular their own sites that you have to kind of go in and go through the 9 levels of like gauntlet to say yes, and then get on to let's figure out what store we can put you and set you up on a schedule on, and it's just like a nightmare.
Yeah.
But my parents, completely different county, they're like, oh yeah, no, I just got it done through the mainline health care area.
So
Like,
there's a vaccination site like within 100 meters of my house.
mm-hmm,
I can throw a stone that way.
mm-hmm,
It's that close.
yeah,
It's very annoying. I just want to get my vaccine so I can actually start living again because this year has been like I've been a hermit
mm-hmm,
and I haven't seen much of my colleagues. We used to have like weekly meetings where everybody was there, but I've been doing that online for a while, but it's just not the same as like having a meeting in person. I just hope that the get we can deal with it.
yeah. I think I'm still going to be wearing a mask for a while. For 2 reasons. One, to just reduce my exposure to people. In general, I think that's a good idea. Also, two, it's an optics thing, right? It's important for others.
Well, you,
Um,
you can still infect people if you have the vaccine. You might not notice the you might still catch it and spread it. Just not You're not going to notice much of it because your body's taking care of it.
mhm. I it So the irony for me was, I had a meetup event, first one like all year, and I was running it with the car club, and I basically on the 30th I had the second vaccine, and I heard you get real screwed up potentially, and I
Uh-huh.
was a little concerned. And then come flip of the next day, I was perfectly fine. Had the event, but the problem is we were outside, and I was outside for about 2.5 hours, and I was wearing basically the same sort of hoodie that I'm wearing now, but the one side of my neck and face basically got sunburned. So I was living with that for almost two
Two-Face.
weeks, almost 2 weeks, and I was
Are
just
you are
like,
you do you
like
have a tendency to flip coins now? Are you like Two-Face?
no, no. I mean, I'm fine now, but it was just like, and I was just like, why am I so sore? And I was like, I just like maybe it's just something about the vaccine. I don't know what's going on. And then I finally looked in the mirror, which I never do, and I go, yeah, I got sunburned. That's what the thing happened on Saturday morning.
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like everything went smooth, but that.
Yeah.
So now the first time I ever bought sunblock in like in a very long time.
I still have like the sunblock that I bought in San Francisco like several years ago because I didn't never use it. I never go outside.
Right. Well, also San Francisco's sun is sort of it's not it's not that sort of clear sky and bright. It's mostly
Well,
cloudy.
I got really sunburned there because I walked from the city center to Sausalito,
Yeah. I don't
and
remember getting
I got
sunburned when we
sunburned.
were both there. Um
Did we ever walk from the city to Sausalito?
no, but we walked to Coit Tower.
Yeah, okay. So basically what you do is you walk from the city center, you go to the Golden Gate, you walk over to Golden Gate, you go under the Golden Gate, and then you walk all the way to Sausalito. It's like 20 kilometers. It
Yeah,
was it was
that's a lot.
painful. And I when I got back on the boat, I felt my ear. I was like, why does it hurt? And turns out I was sunburned. I had a huge blister on my ear, which like the
Yeah.
next day I had to go fly, and why is Power Toys wanting me to update? Stop being annoying. Anyway, I burned my ear.
Yeah. The last time I got sunburned was at my sister's wedding in Florida. And she decided to have her wedding at the beach. So we were out there for so long during, while they were getting married. And, and I didn't wear sunblock. I never go out. You know what I mean? Like it's not a consideration. I need sunblock. I need to lather up in it. Like it's just not a thing because historically, even as a kid, I never got sunburned. That's fine. I
Yeah,
can't find. But like as an adult, like so if I'm in a prolonged area where it's nice and bright out, yeah, I'm not. My body's not conditioned for that. So I got real red. It's not good.
yeah, not great.
So, yeah. So now I have some in the car. So if I need it, I make sure I put some on before I go out in the world. If I'm gonna be in a meetup at something like that. So I got a
Speaking of
few
your
of them
car,
coming.
you've got your car for like a year.
Yeah, I had the car for a year since end of April last year. So yeah, I enjoy this car so much. Definitely enjoyed it while there was a gas crisis going on around here. I mean, I wasn't being
I was like,
smug.
yeah, he's gonna enjoy
I wasn't being
that.
smug at all, but I can tell you some other owners were definitely being smug. So
Did you get any? Do you see any people with plastic bags with gasoline in it?
I didn't even go out because I was basically working at home all day. I
Mm,
only go out maybe once or twice a week, and it's usually the weekend. It's usually
mm,
Saturday and Sunday. And it's not for long, right? There's not a lot of things I can do right now. The world is, even though the area doesn't seem like they care that anything has happened. It's like no, 2020, yeah, same as 2019. Like that's the behavior around here. Um, Even though everyone seems to not care, there's really no place for you to go. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I really want to have a car again because I'm really feeling like I like that I stopped having the car because it saved me a lot of money.
Hmm.
But I also was like, because I was leasing it, right? So
Yeah. Well, okay, so there's two things that's good and bad. When you need to, transport something, right? Or you want to take a trip with friends and stuff like that. It's like a social event. Yeah, cars are great. You got to
yeah, but
go
also if you
somewhere,
want to go somewhere to
right?
pick something up, right?
So in I can say in the U.S. culture, we are really not. Um, we're not really a good sidewalk and ride bike culture.
Oh no, definitely not. No.
No. So yeah, so like okay, in the bubble of a pocket, yeah, lots of people do it inside San Francisco,
Yeah, San Francisco is pretty good.
but San
Like
Francisco also has a lot of hills, so it's a really good physical challenge in general.
when I
Um
went to the Philly area, it's like in the city it's doable, but like outside of like the city
Forget
center
it.
is like
Yeah.
nope.
Suburbs, they really, it's the whole design is for you to have cars. Now, some of the older ones that are also still sort of well-to-do areas, they have sidewalks inside sort of like the little neighborhood pockets, and most of them are more cosmetic than they are actually meant to be used. So you really can't just can't. There are some like little city-like area towns, and yes, you can kind of walk around, and that's perfectly fine. But it's really a car culture out here, especially
Yeah.
if you live in some place like Texas.
So,
What am I saying? Texas. I can't talk. Uh, you need a
it's
car.
it's the 5G, man. It's the 5G.
I know.
It's the
I'm
vaccine.
stuttering because too many people. I'm a roaming hotspot. So
Bill
anyhow,
Gates Bill Gates put chips in you
microchip. Right.
to make you
Yeah. I
stutter.
mean, they're evaluating me to see if I can be an employee. So anyhow, so yes, I mean that's the advantage, but we don't really have a bicycle culture around here.
Yeah,
Um,
so the first year I went to the States, I went to I got a hotel in Philadelphia to check it out, right? And then the year after I went, I just booked a hotel in King of Prussia and rented a car because like just having a car in the area is much nicer than
mhm.
uh
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
like it's expensive. Cars are expensive.
Yeah, cars are a high operation. Well, they're a high. There it depends. Okay, so they could be a high capital expense, and they're a high operational expense, and that's sort of the way the system is engineered today. So lots of things are great, but people that are on the road, their driving habits are hazardous, right? I mean, just absolutely hazardous. So, I mean, that is sort of a negative thing, and I mean, yes, cars kill people, but the people behind the wheel are the ones who are causing
Yeah.
these accidents, or sort of their absurd reaction to other drivers. So, but the advantage of that bike is if you have a place where you live in a bike friendly culture, it's good exercise. It's healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that with that said, though, there's this tremendous uprising in e-bikes. So the sort of lethargic nature of us all Americans, sort of not being completely athletic, right? Because we don't have normal habits and routines that like force us to be, have healthy exercise all the time. Well, now they're
Leave it to
very
the
much
Americans
erasing
to
it.
make it worse.
Yeah, but I mean, even I think even over in Europe, was it cake bikes? Yeah, they make a bunch of really good e-bikes, right? Or powered assist bikes and stuff. So they're taking all the sort of exercise approach of a bike out of the equation now. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It is our culture. It is technology is a thing. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh, it's also been a year since I got the Cintiq, the new Cintiq.
yeah.
Yeah.
And are you happy that you bought the stand?
Oh yes, that's like the best
Because you were so
option.
complaining about not buying it
Oh
for a
man,
long
that
time.
I was in so much pain because I was working on it like in such a bad angle. I'm just so happy I got the stand. It's still expensive as hell, but like, and it doesn't fit on my current desk, and that's why I'm buying a new desk, two new desks, because it doesn't fit. But
Yeah.
eventually I'll be happy. then I'll move or something.
Yeah, I mean, one day I've been looking at houses. I haven't had any bandwidth. I need to go ruffle through the pile over there and get a bunch of tax stuff together for the lender, to see what my approval amount is and stuff like that, and then start, working on cleaning up everything around here to finally buy a place. But right now there's a sort of it's a seller's market right now, so there's a lot of good options. When I last looked before, there was like the options were terrible, but now there's lots of good options. The problem is, if you're ready to go, like, people want to sell very rapidly. Because I saw a couple things where I was like, ooh, and it was like literally like, okay, so I lived in one place, about a mile in on this particular road that I live on, and I lived there for 12 years, and then I moved basically 2 miles down the other side of the road, which is about a mile in from the other end of it, and that's where I live right now. And then there was a house right in the middle between these two places that was like perfect, and this little pocket neighborhood that is just amazing. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, oh, I should probably look at that. Well, I'm not ready to buy it yet, so I don't want to go in and talk to a realtor and then have them like try to pressure me into something I'm not ready to do yet. So I marked that listing, gone in a week. Somebody already it basically sold. So
I think my neighbor sold it like in a day. Their house,
yeah.
their apartment.
So there's
it's like,
but the cost around here is the price on houses is uber inflated. Uber inflated. I mean, it's just, you don't have $500,000, forget it.
and it's all wood. And it's like, it's not even
I know
concrete.
that's
It's
your
like,
thing with us in the US, but yes. Yeah.
It's like basically buying a paper house.
Yeah. I mean, but obviously, if something that's newer construction is going to be far better with, energy efficiency and stuff like that. So there's some value add. Well, that's not always true, right? It depends on who's building it, right? You buy it from a well-known developer, and there's a few of them around here, at least in Pennsylvania in this area. This is what they do. They're the ones who build all the developments and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's been interesting looking at it. The one thing I'll say though, all houses are pretty much ugly, no matter how they look on the outside. And to me, it's very tough to make a buying decision, something like that, based on the look of the outside, because it's really on the inside what counts. But that selling point is important to other people too. So, if I ever feel like there's a need to move, also, I always ask myself the question, why are they leaving?
Yeah.
Why is this house for sale?
How many dead bodies are on their
right.
backyard?
I mean, for some of those, you can see that, like, okay, someone moved out because they bought it in the 60s, right? You get that. But then sometimes you're like, such a great little house. Like, why? Why? This makes you question, because, like, okay, what hook, line, and sinker are you getting into? It's sort of in the back of my head.
Native American burial ground in the backyard or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we talked about a lot of stuff. You want to talk about some fun stuff?
Yep.
Okay, you got one.
Yeah, Rick and Morty Season 5 is coming up soon. So Polymatic./YK for the trailer, whatever thing that is. I think you have something that follows up with that.
Yeah, here's a TikTok. Polymatic.link/YX. Morty says this guy is not Justin Roiland. He does not do the voices of all the characters officially, because he's not their official voice actor, but he does voices really well, and he does all the Rick and Morty characters basically spot on. Yeah, that was really for you, John. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, this would be someone I would recommend to follow if you ever pray tell to caving in.
No, I did TikTok.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen. I know, but you'll get it through the grapevine.
Okay, Moon Pie Creations. I cast and turned a cardboard packing material, something with resin. I know we've been linking lots of stuff with resin, so Polymatic.link/YN.
Yeah, there's what was it, Andy Phillips? I've definitely linked to him in the past here, where he he does stuff with wood, and then if it's like an odd piece of wood or whatever, he'll basically make a big resin cylinder and does some
Yeah.
really interesting things with that too. Watching people do stuff on lathes and make bowls and stuff is just I don't know. It's just something about it. Like you end of your day, you can just sit there and watch this stuff for an hour, and I'm actually entertained by watching people do that stuff. And
Yeah,
this
there's
is
like there's like some certain YouTube channels, like for example, this Tony that was like will do
a machining stuff. Yeah,
it will like if I turn that on, if I'm having trouble sleeping, I just turn it on, I just zonk out in like a minute. It's like it
uh,
just goes, I'm gone, sleeping.
right. It bores you.
No, there's nothing boring about it. It's more like there's no offensive sounds, no. Well,
Right.
there's some like loud noises, but like it's not, you know,
Right. It's him machining things.
there's no look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me stuff happening, and
Right. Yeah, I think there's something
there's
refreshing about it.
calmness. There's
You,
a calmness.
the like Byte or Vine, that's why I sort of evaded TikTok. I just suspected it was going to be the same stuff, and it actually apparently was for the first year or so. But now all of us have shown up, and more creative, more balanced, more like quality YouTube culture stuff is showing up there, and that's kind of where it's at right now.
Mm.
So, okay, so this is a new that you said did you give the link polymatic.link slash
YN.
VYN. I have to remember these are all Y's. YN. Okay. So
You
moving
have
on to
trouble with
mine.
this one.
This one is sort of a boring video, but it's also kind of really interesting, and I think it's going around. It's hot now. Polymatic.link slash YY. And this is, I guess, Intel running a project where they're sort of playing around with enhancing photorealism things. So they applied this to GTA 5, and it's pretty interesting. Looks pretty realistic to me.
Well, yeah, sort of.
I mean, for like low quality car cam, dash cam footage, but yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you just see them apply this stuff to while someone's gaming in GTA 5, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. That's a big improvement over a lot of these other techniques. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you've seen this one, but smoother animation is not better animation. Polymatic YQ. Somebody goes by the name Noodle. It's he has some good points, I think. I don't know if have you seen it?
Yeah, I watched everything.
Yeah. Okay. It's like I've seen this happen. I think some of the Netflix stuff uses this kind of
I mean, what was it? One of
enhancements.
the final Lord of the Rings was in 48 frames or something in the theater and stuff like that. So like
No,
super high frame rates.
no, this
I,
is about animation. So what they do is they do like interframe, like they add more frames in between with AI
right.
and then make it
Right,
worse.
I understand that, but it fundamentally is the same thing. Whether you're doing film or animation, it's about the frames. So,
Mm.
um, so I mean, when you get down to it, yeah, I mean, yes. What did you say at the end, or what was the comment? So I blame it on the gamers.
Yeah, that basically makes sense.
Which I mean, I guess when you are high stimulus, right, what you're doing has to be super high frame rate so that you can basically sniper somebody with high accuracy.
Yeah, but
Like
it
in games, I
doesn't
get
make
it,
it
but
doesn't make it better.
right.
Like
But in your
if
films
it
and
were
stuff,
actually doing the frames in between correctly, then it would look better. But like there's so much trickery going on, and it looks.
one of the things that most people don't realize is even though they might edit your film, they might edit your animation with video. Okay, so in the case of like most animation today is all digital, so none of it is sort of like
Mhm.
painted anymore. But in the case of like, okay, let's just take like Next Generation Star Trek, right? They didn't. While yes, they had the ability to use high quality video cameras to film the TV show. They didn't. They filmed it on with film cameras like they were making a movie. Everything was exactly the same. The things are the way the industry knows stuff. And then what they do is they film scan it Then they do their VFX and do their editing with, video editing hardware. But they would always, so a lot of these TV shows, except for the ones that are in like, a studio like Seinfeld or something, a lot of shows like the film aesthetic, and they film and then they scan, then they
Yeah.
edit.
Yeah.
And you could see a perfect example of this in early music videos was that, "Hey, Mickey, you're so fine." They did it in pure video cameras, and you can see the reds were bleeding, and it was like an uncanny valley. It was too clear and clean looking, and it just wasn't, something was just off by it. And then they learned their lesson that even every music video was filmed. Then
Hmm.
then they weren't really editing film splicing anymore, but they were film scanning and editing, with video hardware.
When you look at
So,
the difference between Voyager and TNG, they redid the video for TNG. A lot of the stuff they
oh really?
fixed it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they have a 4K. I think they have a 4K Blu-ray for the next generation. And
Okay.
if you look at Voyager, everything was done on video. So there is no film stock to go back
Yeah.
to.
So I don't recall Voyager being bad looking.
No, but everything is on video, so they don't have a higher quality.
Oh right, I got you. Right. I understand what you're saying. Is
It's
they
just
had
gone.
TNG had the film, and Voyager, it is what it is because that's it.
So all
Yeah.
they can do is just
Yeah.
do a 4K
Yeah, you can't upgrade it.
upscale.
Until the AI goes and then does upscaling for us.
Yeah,
in-
and everything
in
looks like Jello.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Anyway, so Polymatic.YQ.
So this was an interesting one. It was in my list for a while. How Singapore uses science to stay cool. Polymatic.link/YZ.
Like, I don't see that happening here because, well, basically we have a lot of rain, so we don't really have that problem.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have the city island effect, the heat problems in the
Basically
cities.
what they did is they took a sense of light reflection and things in their city, and they sort of altered things so that buildings stay cool and they're not sort of constantly being baked by reflection.
So the area where I live, Gouda, has a lot of trees, a lot of
Mhm.
nature in between the houses. So there's lots of lots of green spaces. That also helps a lot. But like if you go to Rotterdam or something like that, there's not a lot of trees, not as much, right? And you can feel the difference in temperature in between like areas with lots of big buildings. There's a definite problem there. Anyway, there was a little scuffle on the internet between some Tumblr user and a big artist, and it was kind of funny, in a way. Paul Mac/YR. It's a video from Ethan Becker.
I think
He's a pretty funny character because he plays like a he plays a super confident, overconfident. I'm gonna teach you everything about art. Person, but like he's actually lots of compliments for people that he destroys. Like he's playing a character there.
I think this whole fixing is, I think it's like, hey, here's my, I made a, I here's my version, right? Or actually, if you say here's my version, that means that you redid it from
Yeah, which is
scratch,
fine.
right?
Which is fine.
Right? Which is, I think, is perfectly okay. But it's like, you did it wrong. This is you. Here's, let me fix it for you. Like that attitude, that's pretty shitty. No matter who says that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's very rude. Very rude. I think most artists will say, yeah, that's not a great way to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's a bad way of presenting it. Now, I don't live in sort of the art community, so I don't see any of this stuff, but I think that's a pretty good. But we also used to see this a lot in the AMV community, and I look at something and somebody would say, "Oh, what do you think?" and it's like, "Well, do you just want my opinion? Do you want a critique?" And I said, it's all right. And then somebody would say, "What do you mean? It's blah 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 blah." I said, "All right, well, you missed that beat. You did this. You could probably improve this. Probably need this. if you rejigger this, you change this, you need to cut this a little cleaner. Here, 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 here. Yeah, you might actually you might appeal and might do a lot better in the contest with those attributes,
Yeah.
and it'll be a little more masterful. And I mean, if you work on those things, these are what will make your video better, no doubt. But as it is, it's pretty good. And some people would take offense to that, but like, look, when you know
Well,
that I'm
you
judging these
asked.
contests, I'm judging your competency, depending on whether that's important or not. And so if you ask my opinion and you want to ask me about competency, I can tell you could improve it.
Well, then they asked for it, right? So
Right,
there's
they
a
asked
difference
for it.
between,
Yeah.
just saying, "Oh, you did everything wrong, and this is my
Look, So
and I fixed it for you."
right.
It's
And somebody
go
asked me,
cactus.
and I was just watching it, and I said, "It's all right. Yeah, you'll do okay in the contest." And then she was like, "Just no, but no." She was just like pushing me to give her, and so I said, "Okay." And while we were watching, I said, "Okay," and I went through all this stuff with her, and she's like, "Okay, thank you." And then she took that same thing and she trolled it to every single contest. And she saw me in one of these audiences at one of these contests where she was trolling it, where they allowed that. And she won an award. And she sneered at me as she was walking by to go get her award. Like, see, I validated. She didn't fix anything, right? And look, different things will appeal to different people. But her video wasn't competent, but it appealed to sort of crowd pandering, and so for her, that's what was important. So that worked out. So
I think the whole problem here was that it wasn't requested. Somebody just decided that whatever the original artist did was wrong, so they decided that I'm
I
just
also
going
get
to
the
fix
perspective.
it.
I get the perspective that this artist has been drawing something based on the way the machine works, and this is his art. This is how he learned to draw. He's proficient at it. It seems like, and that's it. That's the character. That was MJ. And somebody's like, I don't like you made her busty. I don't like you made her waist, to hourglass, right? That kind of stuff. So it has to be
Yeah.
fixed. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Your version is probably very much more accurate.
I
But it doesn't mean you fixed it. You changed it to appeal more to you than what the original artist was doing, right? His goal was different,
and it wasn't
than yours.
even like the artist like redid the picture, right? So they didn't even redo it. They just
Right. They didn't redraw it
chop
in
it up
its entirety and then redraw MJ. No, they just photoshopped.
Yeah. So that was an interesting thing, but I think that his take is probably the best one. It's
Right.
not the best one. It's like I think it's a funny way of looking at it, and he has a link to somebody else who made a good like in-depth thing. That's probably better. Polymatic.media/YR for the video from Ethan Becker, but in the description there's a link to something else, another video that I also found very interesting.
Yeah.
That was more in depth.
So that was Polymatic.link/YR.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I got one. I don't know. I think I got this from Paul. I don't know. I don't think I got it from you, but I thought this was so funny. This was a while ago, though. This has got to be at least a month ago.
This is April Fool's.
Yeah, this was okay, right? April Fool's. Testing the NVIDIA RTX 4090. This guy did such a great job. Such a great job, especially the TI.
Did you see the response from Linus Tech Tips?
Oh, hold on. Polymatic.link/Z0.
So Linus Tech Tips responded to it.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
That was very funny.
Okay, I didn't see the response. Those are pretty good. That was probably one of the best April Fools. Oh, that was pretty dope. I like that. It was really good.
Okay, so we got a link to MKBHD's Right to Repair video, Polymatic.link/YS. And if I have to explain Right to Repair to anybody, then you're in the wrong place.
Yeah. I follow Louis Rossman. I was really on and off. So lately I haven't been watching this stuff, but when he was like looking for a new place, and this is like mid pandemic, even actually before pandemic stuff, he was looking for like a new place for his store. So he was going through a process, and so I was following him pretty tightly, and he always talks about right to repair, and I was following. I would watch some of this stuff once in a while, but sometimes these videos are really long, and I just don't have the time or patience for it.
Yeah.
But Brown Marcus, doing this, MKBHD doing this is actually a really good thing because it's just going to bring it to a broader audience. And I know Tesla comes into the stack of this, and I can see both sides, both points of view. Um, only electricians know how to deal with high power voltages. Auto mechanics don't. So until you can find the auto mechanic who knows how to deal with high power voltages, and are qualified and certified for those kinds of things. I mean, they are certified. They work for Tesla, or they work for some division where someone's making electric vehicles. So until that combination happens, I I am more leaning on the side of where Tesla is with a lot of this. It's
Hmm.
not about access to parts. It's about somebody who's going to basically electric chair themselves by being stupid.
Yeah, but
Um,
we're talking about having a garage fix the thing. Like it doesn't matter if you have a ding on the side of your car, having to go back to Tesla to have it fixed. Uh, right, you
right.
don't need to
Okay.
go to
So like
Tesla for that.
body work, yes, you could take it to a body
Yeah, but
shop.
even like basic stuff, right? Oh, your chair is not working properly. Fixing the part
Hmm.
of the chair, right? Going into the electronics, maybe, but like you can get shops that handle electronic EVs,
And so
right? So
there are a few of them, but they're obviously not. They're not like
not
authorized by
yet,
Tesla.
not
And
yet,
Tesla doesn't have any program for this really. They have a very
but they
limited
shouldn't even have
thing.
a program for it. What they should do is the same thing that they did for the gas cars. It's like having everything available, like
Hmm.
having second hand
And
parts or
so
having parts available.
I think their point of view is just cautionary at this point in time. I don't know it's because they're against it entirely. I think it's just cautionary, and they don't really have a whole system set up for handling this
Well,
yet.
they're afraid of like people buying the parts for cheaper and then building themselves a Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, so if you want to put aftermarket things in and stuff like that, people have been doing it, and there are definitely people who sort of get certified by some version of a program to be authorized. And Tesla will list those authorized individuals. Same thing with electricians who do high power wall connector installations and stuff like that. Um, it's
It
all
was fun
very
that
it's
they had Simone Yetch on with the Truckla.
yeah. Yeah, and I heard about it. Just we know what you did. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
but
so
like that is so bad. That
yeah,
is that is that is so not great.
now I benefit a little bit from being involved in a club, a car club, and we're one of the sort of authorized club partners. So we have access and resources that are correct. So if I had a problem with something,
Oh.
I have a little more. We as a club have a little more access and rapport, right? So that's valuable, because we have a community that's a little bit more collectively we're valuable. So we're insulary, right? But if I get a ding or something, yeah, I'm gonna have the same problem. Like I just happens to be the service center near me has one of those authorized body shops that is very close by to the Tesla service center. And so I go to them and they'll give me the info that we need and then I would get that stuff done. But the problem is I'd be without my car for a very long time. Um, so, yeah, I mean it's inconvenient, right? So anyway, but my whole point of this is, I agree with some of the caution. I understand the cautionary stuff where Tesla's coming from. I don't know if I agree to all of it, but to the point, I definitely understand the perspective. So because it's a new thing. It's not like your old an industry that's been around for 100 years. It's just not the same thing. So, changing your
think I
tires
don't
out.
agree. I don't agree with
Changing
you
your
at all.
tires out, you don't need Tesla for that. You can take that to a tire place. So
Yeah, but like it's not just Tesla, right? It's like phones, it's like laptops.
oh yeah,
even,
so I
like-
agree. I agree where Lewis and everybody's on with that. It just seems like it's it's the TikTok behavior, not the actual social platform, right? It's engineered obsolescence. It's intentional.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway, next one.
Well, that was polymatic.link/ys.
YS.
Yeah. Okay, so I like Aaron's animals and all the stuff they do because when
I
they
think
put
you've
out a
shared
video,
them like 4 or 5 times by this
yeah,
time.
I have,
Already.
but they're just well done. Polymatic.link/z1. The cat raised by a mouse. It's so stupidly well done. You can't. I don't know. I guess it's not your thing, John. This is more for other people to listen, not you.
I have a thing to say here that he used a mouse is a bad thing because it's not a mouse, it's a freaking hamster. They're hamsters. They're not mice. They're Syrian hamsters. They're not mice.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I should have said hamster. So Polymatic.link/z1.
I copied what was in the YouTube thing.
I know, but like I just don't know why. And there was no comment about it with like these are hamsters, not mice. It's just I don't know.
Well, then you need to be the person that tells them that.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that person.
Okay.
So I got another video. Noodle Crunch Culture Polymatic.link/YT. It's a very people should watch it.
Yeah, I relate to this, even though I'm not in the animation industry. Yep.
Okay.
So this one, old video for me, but I thought this was interesting. This is a group of people that basically have come up with portable charging packs where they can literally boost a car, electric vehicle, basically, well enough for them to get home or a distance ahead. But these are portable. You could buy them if you really felt it was necessary, but they are literally meant to help you charge up your electric vehicles. Spark Charge. This is a long video. Range to the rescue. Polymatic.link/z3. I follow these guys. They have a bunch of interesting videos. They have another channel where they talk about a lot of green energy things. And they talk with these companies and stuff like that. I was listening to one. I forget who the company is. They're out of Finland. Polar Window, something like that. Where they were talking about storing energy and heat into sand, into the ground, and then retrieving it later. Really interesting concepts. Very unique stuff. Good way to be informed. So,
but what I would like it to see is like have hydrogen cells instead of having the batteries. I think it's probably safer than having.
Yeah, but the problem with
lithium.
hydrogen, you have to apply a lot of electricity to split things to get the hydrogen out, and that's part of it. The big problem.
But you can do that all with solar. That's the thing.
Yeah, right? Maybe. But so these guys, they have other channels, but they go through when they do interviews with people.
I was talking about this specific thing because you can just have basically a tank full of hydrogen and fill the battery, and then have the battery do the translation into the car.
Yeah, I'm not informed enough on the subject of it. I just know that to be able to get the hydrogen for hydrogen fuel is you just have to apply a lot of electricity to be able to get it, and you have to put more in to basically get it apart to basically diffuse it so you can get the stored energy out. I know that much about it, and yes, maybe there are some really gorgeous ways of handling that. I just don't know what that is. So,
I think the design for this specific thing is very. I think there's some problems with it. Just Polymatic.link/z3.
Yeah, it's an old video, so they might have improved quite a bit since then. Yeah.
So next one is a scruffy invisible sound design Breath of the Wild. I don't know if we've shared this one before. It for some reason it felt like we've shared this one before. But anyway, Polymatic link says why you.
Okay.
So Breath
It
of the
seemed
Wild.
new to me, but I had seen it in the past.
Hmm.
I mean, absolutely. There's lots of gorgeous designs in Breath of the Wild. So
Mm-hmm.
this is just proving the point. So
Yeah,
okay.
I got the new game, the Hyrule Warriors
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. I know Bryce had mentioned as well.
Yeah, I haven't
Okay.
actually played it. I bought the game, but I haven't actually had the time to play it.
Okay, so this is again on my list for a long time, but ingenious self-soldering sleeves, a very old invention. It's a wartime invention, but Polymatic.link/Z2. Thought it was interesting.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, he did a bad with the not sticking the wires in while it was heating up.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's a good thing. But like, with the current situation, you can't really use it anymore. But
Yeah.
for that time,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I don't know if you've heard of Seth Everman before, but Polymatic links list YM for a video about the Pokemon theme song and him buying a lot of cards. And, Polymatic links list YM. It's entertaining.
Yeah, I tried to
That
watch this, but
Pikachu.
it told me it was not available. So I don't know if
What?
that was a country thing or not. It didn't say anything about country. It just wasn't available.
What?
Yeah.
What? Did he take it down? No,
Mhm.
it's online. It's I can see it here.
Yeah, I couldn't see it.
Huh. Okay. Well, Polymatic link slash YM. It works for me.
It works for John. Okay. This is another guy that I follow that does things. Sometimes he does stuff with his with his lab. Um Polymatic.link/Z4. He was experimenting with resin and iron filings. And
I think you've shared another video of this guy before.
right, I probably showed the other one that he mentions where he
Mm-hmm.
did this like the cylinder. Well, okay, so now he decided to do a sphere
Hmm.
and figure out how to improve it. It's
Mm-hmm.
really interesting. When Pete Brown does stuff, it's really neat.
Yeah. Have you yeah, okay, so Polymatic links is Z4 for that one.
Yeah.
It's another one in the genre of makers with lathes and stuff.
Yeah.
Seems to be a pattern here.
Yeah.
Look, Mom, No Computer making a synthesizer out of relays, part 1. I don't think he's posted part 2 yet. So Polymatic link says YW. Look, Mom, No Computer is an interesting channel to watch. It's
Yeah.
he's a character.
Yeah. It's a long video, but it's interesting. All right,
Yeah.
and then this is the last TikTok that I have for this month. This is an example of this. See, I wanted you to line this when you were talking about for COVID stuff, but Polymatic.link/Z5. It's short. It's funny. At least I found it funny.
Yeah, I think one of these two, like one of the Polymatic links. Oh, this is the one with the
Girls.
parents.
Yeah, who's just playing the piano.
So okay, yeah.
There's another one who does really good. She plays the piano and she has a little song, and then even when she has visitors, it's an interaction like that.
Which one was the other one with the? Those
Morty says, yeah.
Okay, so same room, Polymatic link slash Z5.
Yeah, I didn't really have a title for it. I just created one. So
okay,
yeah.
I have 3 links for the same thing. Uppermost came out with an album in February. It's actually pretty good. So Polymatic link slash YO, like the letter O, YP, and YV for YouTube, Spotify, and a YouTube playlist for the same album. And I really like the album. I've been playing it on loop for like the last week or so. So yeah.
So this is not music that John likes, but it's an artist that I like. Dodie finally basically has an album, and she's had lots of EPs and lots of little things, and they're all great. But she finally released a new album. There's some really good stuff on here. This I think I linked to Spotify. Polymatic.link/Z7. This sounds great in my car. Sounds great everywhere. She really likes to use strings and has layers to it. And there's lots of good songs in there if you kind of like her style of music.
Well, you made an assumption, but like I tried listening to it, but like the problem is that the Spotify link goes to like Spotify website and it doesn't actually just load straight into Spotify. So it's kind of annoying. But
I did it that way.
I had to find the album in Spotify to actually get to the thing. So I did try to listen to it, but like it's a long album, so I don't have really I didn't have the time to actually listen to it.
It's one of those things where you want to be in an environment, you don't want to shuffle it. You want to let it run its course. Because there's lots of little interlude things in there that lower. There's a moment where she is at the end of a song called 4 Tequilas Down, where she does this layering that sort of has lingered with me all week. But it's really just brilliant how she did it. But also, it's also very brilliant in understanding the moment of the story. And even though it's not that story that I relate to, I understand with what she's talking about, and I relate to that very well. So I just thought that, yeah. And so it like haunted me. So yeah. That's
so
really good.
Do you know what the idea is behind the discs that Spotify has been doing?
No idea. So I bought this album directly, right? So, or at least by Amazon. So the bonus discs I saw on the Amazon thing for a bunch of these extra songs, and I guess she re-recorded some of the EPs or something like that. So I don't know where that applies into Spotify.
So when you look at Spotify, they're grouped into discs.
Okay.
For some reason, I have no idea. But the same thing for the Uppermost album. It's the same thing. They have like discs.
Okay,
I don't know
interesting.
how that works. But
I mean, I guess it's because we used to have CDs, right? So if you had like a bonus disc or a bonus side right on an album, right?
Yeah, but I don't know why they would suddenly start doing that. I know that the Uppermost one is coming out as a vinyl, so that might be the reason why.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Maybe to keep it in alignment with actual printed material.
Okay, so that's Polymatic.link/Z7 for Dodie's album.
Yeah. Okay. So this was also okay.
What?
So nope, that's yours. Sorry.
What? I have one. I still have one.
Yeah.
Chopstick Piano, Polymatic.link/YL. It sounds interesting. It's like I don't know what it is, but you know.
I don't know. So I don't know if I looked at this one or not.
It's like a guy sitting at a what looks to be a self-made piano thingy.
Okay, no, I don't think I saw this one. You must have added this recently.
No, I added it before. But
okay,
fine. Polymatic.link/YL.
Yeah. Okay, so finally mine, and the last one I had this on my list for a while. These guys play cellos, 2 cellos,
and they destroy them.
And Thunderstruck. We all know that AC/DC song, Thunderstruck. So they play it on their cellos, Polymatic.link/Z6.
They destroyed it into their cellos.
Yeah, but pretty baller though they played it.
You see the cellos that they were losing strings basically. Just so rough with the instruments. It's like wow. Anyway, that's Polymatic.link/Z6. Okay, so Alan, where can they find you?
You don't need to find me, but if you have to, you can find me on Twitter. I don't really say anything. CHAESS. It's my last name.
You can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/webdev. For feedback, you can reach us at podcast@Polymatic.media. Music is by Sayins, which you can find at Polymatic.link/EK. Our Twitter is The Polymatic. Our website is Polymatic.media. And I hope you tune in next time.